What was one time you completely misread a situation? Back in November 2020, my girlfriend and I made the decision to live together. After the first lockdown during the pandemic, we decided we didn't want to spend so many months apart anymore. Anticipating another lockdown, we took a leap and moved in together. At first, everything was perfect. Living together felt like a dream come true. We got along so well and it was like living with your best friend. But after a few months, things started to change. My girlfriend began acting strangely, and I couldn't help but notice. One day, I saw her looking guilty as she walked from the kitchen to our room, hiding something behind her back. I jokingly asked her what it was, and defensively answered saying it was nothing. I began laughing and asked again, but she got angry. Snapping at me, she ran to our room to lock herself in. As she walked away, I tried to get a glance of what she had in her hands. It was a fork? Just a fork, a simple fork. I couldn't understand why she would hide such a mundane item. A few weeks later, the same thing happened again. It seemed like this would happen twice a month. This time, she was hiding 2 spoons. I couldn't let it go. I asked her why she was hiding them, but she brushed me off. She said it is none of my business. Her justification was that every couple has their secrets and to her it was well within her rights to have her own. I tried to accept her answer, but it nagged at me. Why spoons and forks? As time went on, I noticed her sneaking the cutlery from our room back to the kitchen when she thought I wasn't watching. I couldn't comprehend what was going on. Why go through all the trouble? The mystery was driving me crazy, so I turned to the internet for advice. The responses I received only fueled my worries. People suggested she might be hiding her substance abuse or struggling with an eating disorder. I became increasingly anxious and wondered if I should confront her or maybe even install a camera to uncover the truth. The situation was starting to consume me. Eventually, I gave in to my worries and mustered the courage to talk to her about it, hoping for an open and honest conversation. Usually we communicate well and never argue when doing so. However, instead of understanding, she got angry. Really angry. Stop asking about it, no is no, you won't get an answer about it. She shut me out and refused to provide any answers. It hurt to see her like that. For days she felt distant and cold. She refused to talk to me. The internet suggestions played on my mind. Once again, I gave in to my fears and I decided to set up a camera in our room. I couldn't believe what I saw. The footage revealed what she had been doing all this time. It confused me even more. She would just put the utensils in a plastic bag and then she put it in a backpack of hers. Moving around some clothes in the dresser, she proceeds to hide the backpack. After seeing that, I looked for the backpack in our dresser. There it was. Cutlery, a pan, and a plate. I was even more confused. More questions than answers at that point. I couldn't let it go. I confronted her once again, this time opening her backpack and showing her the hidden stash. She got really angry again, but then she cried. Afterwards, she went away for a walk. 2 hours later, she sent a message to tell me she was at her sister's and would come back when she felt ready. She came back 2 days later because she had to work and had no other choice anyway. Then it was her time to seek me down and finally tell me what was up. She was fidgeting and nearly crying, but also laughing. What she said next shocked me. I know it's stupid, but I just hate washing the dishes. I asked her what she meant. I am sorry for the way I acted about it all, but I was embarrassed to tell you the truth. I hate washing the dishes, and when it's my turn to do so, I take some of the dishes away and hide them. When it's your turn to wash the dishes, I put them back, so I have less to wash. It made sense. Our rule is whoever cooks doesn't have to do the dishes. We used to alternate. One day was me, one day was her. I always thought that since she cooked the fancy meals, they must require a lot more dishes to be used. It suddenly made sense why I always seemed to have more dishes to wash. At that point I just laughed because what in the world? But, it was also incredibly funny somehow. I decided to tell her about the camera, and after an initial offense, she found the humor in it too. She said she deserved it and would probably have done the same. Showed her the first time I went to the internet for advice and she apologized for letting me worry so much for so little. We saw it as a funny story, a lighthearted memory to laugh about in the future. There were no hard feelings or grudges. From that point on, I took over the dishwashing duties, and she agreed to handle the laundry.